The time has arrived, 222. Let me say right off the bat that to you YouTubers that are not also Facebook friends, you don't know what I shared with Facebook when I shared my video from yesterday on Facebook, that today the announcement is not going to happen either, that you've been waiting for. So I keep you waiting yet another day, not because I want to, but because that's the way things are flowing, or not flowing. In any case, the title that I've selected for this video is Capitalism is Anti-Humanity by Design. And the blurb goes like this: the world as we have known it has never experienced real democracy or true communism, both of which are ideals as I see it. The former allows everyone to have an equal voice, while the latter is egalitarian, allowing everyone to share in the natural resources that belong to us all. Distorted human nature, called capitalism, is characterized by greed and the desire to control humanity by a select group that sees itself as superior and having the right to rule others. And I have a word here that doesn't belong there. Okay, fixed it. Human values are considered inferior, and humanity itself is seen as a resource to be exploited and harvested. This system is the matrix. It is the beast, or 666. It is heartless and fraudulent. Just look up the Kingdom of Colonia St. John, and I provide the link in brackets in the blurb. So if you want to know where it is, it's in the blurb. It is a fraudulent scheme in which people are being sold an illusion, since it is nothing more than an atoll that is submerged every day at high tide. Yes, people blinded by the desire to be rich and have more than others have fallen for the scheme. We have all been brainwashed to fall for the deception of capitalism, which makes us subhuman. And let me just say, by subhuman, I mean beings living at far below the potential that is within each of us. I do not see humanity as defective. I do see humanity as programmed poorly, because we've been sold a bill of goods and we've bought into that bill of goods through our own ignorance, but the ignorance itself has been caused probably by manipulated DNA, by manipulating the environment, by manipulating food, by manipulating a lot of things, by this very class of people that thinks it has the right to rule over and dominate others. I do not wish, and to me no sane person wishes to dominate anyone else. My nature is love. It has been that for a long time. My nature is to want to uplift people and help people to realize the potentials they have within them, so that we can unleash our creativity, so that we can unleash our productivity, so that we can co-create together a world that works for everyone. That will never happen in a capitalistic society, which, as I said, is anti-human. It's anti-life. Anything that can be exploited is exploited in a capitalist mindset. It's not free enterprise. Capitalism is monopolistic. In other words, it is about control. It is about creating unilateral contracts that are enforced by threats and coercion and violence. This is the world that we live in. It's the world that we need to wake up to. I mentioned the Kingdom of Colonia St. John, which was recently brought to my attention by one of my friends who has been involved in the RV movement, or the revaluation of currency, or the dinar people. Yes, that group. The group that has been, before whom has been dangled this carrot of we're going to make you instantly rich. All of a sudden you're going to be a millionaire, or in some cases a billionaire. Or in one case that I know of, a trillionaire. And you're going to have all of this great wealth, more than many third world countries have. And you're going to have control. And that's the dream of the matrix that has been dangled. If you look at the website that I referred to in the blurb of the Kingdom of Colonia St. John, you will notice a lot of names on there. Names of people that are involved. At least one of these people is someone that Neil Keenan has been involved with. And if you've been following the last couple of videos, you know we've talked about Neil Keenan. It's part of the fraud. It's part of the scam. This is just one piece of it. These scams go on all the time, of rich people trying to entice poor people to fund their projects. I'm talking about the poor funding the rich, not the other way around. The people that want to be rich, and they entice them by offers of various things, money, a getaway place like the Kingdom of Colonia St. John, which, as I said, at high tide is mostly submerged underwater. Hardly a place you would want to live, and yet it is billed as some kind of a paradise, and it actually has on their website all the forms of a real government, of a real place. But it's like somebody trying to sell you beachfront property in Arizona, and hopefully that's never going to be available, that California will still sit on the other side of Arizona. But you get my point, I hope. So we have all of this stuff that's going on, and people are wondering, well, when are things really going to change? You know, when are we going to see something tangible that's different? And I want to say this about the world and about the Matrix. For a long time, I was part of the deception that believed that when we're all made millionaires, all of a sudden everything is going to be nice and there's going to be an egalitarian culture on the planet. It's not going to be a manipulated culture that is nothing more than another brand of slavery. I now realize that as long as the SWIFT system is operating, and that's what, by the SWIFT system, that's the system of the screens by which wealth, as it's measured in monetary terms on this planet currently and through our lifetime, that's the system that these massive amounts of money are moved from one account to another account to be utilized. And it's a system that's set up by the Rothschilds and the current banking system. Okay, that's the system that's in place, so that nothing moves that doesn't move through SWIFT. Now, BRICS is creating an alternative. BRICS, for those of you that don't know, is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It's an alliance, actually, not just of 5 nations, but 555 is the vision of the family that wants to overcome 666 and put heart back into the way the world operates. And by heart, I mean love. You know, and it's interesting when I say that, because I have up here on the screen my videos, and already my video from yesterday, which hasn't even been up for 12 hours yet, has surpassed my video called Expressing the Love of God, and Love Operates Compassionately, or It's Not Love. When I put love in the title, nobody watches. It shows where human consciousness is. You don't want to hear about something that might be uplifting, that might be actually feeding your soul. You want to know the latest gossip on what's happening in the world of finances. And this is what the Matrix has done to us. It has blinded us as to what is really important. You know, it's important to the family, or at least to the visionaries like the ambassador with whom I'm working, that we create a world where family and love and personal creativity and personal choices are seen as something that's valuable, where we are not just resources to be exploited and harvesting our value, harvesting our wealth. That's all the current system of corporate controlled governments and corporate controlled institutions, including religions. Everything is about harvesting energy. Everything is about taking resources to use to tighten the grip of control and maintain the illusion of control and domination over others. That's the status quo that the beast is trying desperately to maintain. And if we were to release money, while the swift method of transferring wealth is still the operating system, if you will, that controls world finance, you're not going to see finances flow to the people. It's just not going to happen. Hopefully, and I say hopefully, because there's always the danger of one slavery system being replaced by another one, slightly more benevolent perhaps, but just a brand of the same slavery system of harvesting energy. That would be disastrous. That would be a step in the wrong direction as far as I'm concerned. But I'm hoping that BRICS provides us and everyone on the planet an alternative means of accessing value and of contracting by choice instead of by force. A contract by force is null and void by very definition of the word contract. And that is the way the beast operates. It doesn't ask you for permission. It tells you what it requires. And we really are not given a choice if we want to maintain any level of apparent freedom, because they will throw you in prison and throw away the key or even kill you if you don't do what they tell you to do. So we're not free, and as long as any of us are in bondage, we're all in bondage together. I don't see myself as free as long as brothers and sisters are not free. I don't see myself as enriched as long as my brothers and sisters continue to be impoverished. I don't see myself as separate. That's what capitalism does. It sees itself as separate. The people that run the capitalist system and the people that long for that kind of wealth and power, the power to control, the power to have more than others, and to use it for your own ends, whether it hurts anybody or not. That's part of what we want to move away from, or what I want to move away from. Yes, I'm an idealist. Yes, I'm a utopian person. I want to create a world that literally works. I want to see what it's like to have people that actually love one another in leadership positions, to help those that don't quite get it yet, to help them see, to provide enough of a yin-yang so that they can make a choice and see that make a conscious choice to choose to love, to choose to become the best they can be, to choose values that are sustainable rather than values like greed, which is never going to be sustainable. It's always going to create conflict. It's always going to create polarization. It's always going to divide the individual within him or herself, and each of us from one another, and all of us from creation and the Creator. Now, I've been sitting in classes for the past several days, hours and hours on end, and we're trying to create a way of presenting a plan for humanity that will give you the possibility of getting involved. And it's not capitalism. If it ends up being capitalism, I will owe you all an apology. Well, except for the fact that I've been deceived along the way, if that's what actually happens. I'm trying to present, and we're trying to give you something which will enrich and empower you, each of you as individuals. And it will hold accountable those that are still trying to create and maintain the harvesting system, the system of deception and fraud. We need this message to reach all levels of human society, from the ivory towers to the pig pens, where the apparent lowest levels of humanity still exist, that are only eking out a day-by-day existence, as happens in much of the third world. Anyway, I want you to be encouraged to look for the good, to seek the love, and not just be blinded by the promises of greedy, deceptive offers, such as the Kingdom of Colonia St. John, such as the revaluation schemes that have been so prevalent in the Western world in recent years. Don't look for instant riches. Look for the transformation of human culture and of the human heart and soul, because that's what it's going to take to create the world that we all long for in the deepest part of our heart, a world that works for everyone. Thank you for listening. Namaste.